On December 3, 2024, South Korea found itself teetering on the precipice of authoritarian rule. President Yoon Yeol, in a move that shocked both the nation and the international community, declared martial law. The declaration, broadcast during a late-night televised address, cited threats from North Korean agents and anti-state forces as justification. This dramatic action, however, was met with swift and decisive resistance. Within a mere 2 hours, the National Assembly, in an emergency session, voted overwhelmingly to invalidate the declaration. By the following morning, President Yoon had reversed course, accepting the Assembly's decision. This brief but tumultuous period has left South Korea grappling with profound questions about the stability of its democracy and the future of President Yoon's already embattled administration. The incident has exposed deep political fissures within the country and raised concerns about the potential for further unrest. The speed with which the situation unfolded, from the initial shock of the declaration to the resolute response of the National Assembly and the eventual climb down by the president, left many both inside and outside South Korea struggling to make sense of the events. The world watched with bated breath, uncertain of what the immediate future held for this vibrant democracy. As the dust settles, a clearer picture is beginning to emerge, revealing a nation grappling with the ghosts of its authoritarian past and the challenges of navigating an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. The road ahead for South Korea remains uncertain, but the events of December 3rd serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions and the importance of vigilance in safeguarding them. In his televised address, President Yoon painted a picture of a nation facing imminent danger. He spoke of North Korean infiltrators working to destabilize the South and of anti-state forces seeking to overthrow the government. He argued that these threats were severe enough to warrant the extraordinary measure of martial law. Yoon's declaration came as a shock to many, not least because it followed a period of relative calm on the Korean peninsula. While acknowledging the severity of the measures, Yoon insisted that they were necessary to protect South Korea's constitutional order and to eradicate the threat posed by these alleged subversive elements. He invoked the specter of North Korean aggression, a potent symbol of fear and uncertainty for many South Koreans. However, the lack of concrete evidence presented by the president to support his claims of an imminent threat raised eyebrows both domestically and internationally. Many observers questioned the timing and motivation behind the declaration, speculating that it may have been a calculated move by a president facing dwindling popularity and a hostile parliament. Critics pointed to President Yoon's declining approval ratings and his struggles to advance his legislative agenda in the face of staunch opposition from the Democratic Party, which holds a majority in the National Assembly. The move to declare martial law, they argued, was a desperate attempt to consolidate power and silence dissent. Others viewed the declaration as a sign of President Yoon's increasingly authoritarian tendencies and his willingness to circumvent democratic norms to achieve his political objectives. The lack of transparency surrounding the decision-making process and the absence of any prior consultation with key stakeholders, including the National Assembly, fueled these concerns. The response from the National Assembly was swift and unequivocal. Within hours of President Yoon's announcement, lawmakers convened for an emergency session to debate the martial law declaration. Despite the late hour and the gravity of the situation, there was a palpable sense of defiance in the air. Lawmakers from across the political spectrum, including some members of President Yoon's own People Power Party, voiced their opposition to the declaration, denouncing it as an unconstitutional power grab. They argued that the president had failed to provide sufficient evidence to justify such an extreme measure, and accused him of undermining the very foundations of South Korean democracy. The debate, though heated at times, remained civil, a testament to the strength of South Korea's democratic institutions. When the time came to vote, the result was overwhelming. By a margin of 190 to 110, the National Assembly voted to invalidate the martial law declaration, sending a clear message that President Yoon's actions would not be tolerated. The Assembly's decision was met with jubilation by the thousands of protesters who had gathered outside the building, defying the curfew imposed under martial law. Chants of democracy and Yoon must resign echoed through the streets of Seoul as people celebrated this victory for the rule of law. The reverberations of President Yoon's short-lived martial law declaration are still being felt both within South Korea and internationally. Domestically, the incident has further polarized an already divided nation and significantly weakened President Yoon's already tenuous grip on power. Calls for President Yoon's resignation or impeachment have intensified, with even some members of his own party expressing their disapproval of his actions. The opposition Democratic Party has accused him of treason and is actively exploring the possibility of initiating impeachment proceedings. The international community has also expressed its concern over the events in South Korea. The United States, South Korea's closest ally, issued a statement urging all parties to exercise restraint and to resolve their differences peacefully through dialogue. While reaffirming its ironclad commitment to South Korea's security, the U.S. also emphasized the importance of upholding democratic norms and the rule of law. The United Kingdom and other Western allies have echoed these sentiments, urging South Korea to uphold its commitment to democracy and human rights. The incident has raised questions about South Korea's stability and its ability to serve as a reliable partner on the world stage. The long-term implications of this event for South Korea's political landscape remain to be seen.